Have you ever found yourself caught in a recurring loop of unsatisfying desires, a relentless pursuit of something just beyond your grasp, leaving you feeling hollow rather than fulfilled? It's a common human experience, a gnawing sense that what we consciously crave isn't truly what we need, a silent discord between our proclaimed desires and the deeper stirrings within. This chasm, often unacknowledged, is where the buried ego resides, a landscape shaped by the profound insights of Carl Jung. He understood that beneath the surface of our awareness lies a vast, uncharted territory, the unconscious, where the seeds of our truest desires are often hidden, obscured by societal expectations, past traumas, and the protective masks we wear. Imagine a woman named Elara, a brilliant architect whose life, from the outside, appeared to be a meticulously crafted masterpiece. Her portfolio gleamed with award-winning designs. Her apartment was a testament to minimalist elegance, and her social calendar was perpetually full. Yet, beneath the veneer of success and sophistication, Elara felt a persistent, subtle ache, a sense of something vital missing. She chased the next big project, the next captivating relationship, the next luxurious vacation, believing each acquisition would finally fill the void. Her conscious desire was for more recognition, more admiration, a constant affirmation of her worth through external achievements. She would spend countless hours meticulously drafting blueprints, driven by an almost obsessive need for perfection, a need that often left her exhausted and emotionally depleted. Her colleagues admired her dedication, her clients lauded her vision, but the accolades felt like fleeting echoes in a vast, empty hall. One evening, after another exhausting week culminating in a project deadline met with critical acclaim, Elara found herself staring at her reflection. Her eyes, usually vibrant and sharp, held a weariness that belied her youthful appearance. A memory, long suppressed, flickered to life. She was a child again, perhaps 7 years old, meticulously building a complex fort in her backyard, not for display or praise, but for the sheer joy of creation, for the quiet satisfaction of bringing an inner world to life. Her mother, a woman who had always emphasized practical achievement, had once remarked, "That's lovely, darling, but wouldn't you rather be reading something useful for school?" The comment, innocent in its intent, had planted a tiny seed of doubt, suggesting that her intrinsic joy in creation was somehow less valuable than outwardly recognized accomplishments. Over the years, this seed had blossomed into a pervasive belief. Her worth was tied to external validation, her desires warped into a quest for approval rather than authentic expression. Elara's relationships mirrored this pattern. She found herself drawn to partners who were equally successful, equally ambitious, yet emotionally distant. These relationships, like her architectural triumphs, were aesthetically pleasing but lacked genuine intimacy. She craved deep connection, but her unconscious, fueled by the buried ego's need for external validation, pushed her towards individuals who reinforced her perceived need for achievement and status. There was a brief, intense relationship with a charismatic artist, a man who saw past her professional facade and recognized the playful, creative spirit she had long suppressed. He encouraged her to sketch for pleasure, to paint without a client's brief, to simply be. For a fleeting period, Elara felt a profound sense of peace, a quiet joy that transcended her usual anxieties. But the unconscious fear of not being enough without external markers of success eventually resurfaced, manifesting as insecurity and a subtle push-pull dynamic. She found herself subconsciously sabotaging the very intimacy she yearned for, fearing that if she allowed herself to be truly seen, the carefully constructed edifice of her ego would crumble. The artist, sensing her unspoken resistance, eventually drifted away, leaving Elara with a familiar pang of emptiness, yet a new, bewildering question. Why did she push away the very connection she consciously desired? This intricate dance between conscious desire and unconscious compulsion is a profound testament to the power of the buried ego. Elara's constant striving, her pursuit of external markers of success, was not merely ambition. It was a compensatory mechanism, a desperate attempt to fill a perceived void that originated in childhood. Her shadow, the repressed aspects of her personality, contained the innocent joy of creation, the unadulterated desire for connection, and the vulnerability she had learned to hide. The first aspect of desire, often superficial and born of societal conditioning, is what Elara consciously pursued. It was the desire for the glittering prize, the applause, the validation that she mistakenly believed would complete her. Yet, the persistent hollowness indicated that her deeper, truer desires, those rooted in her authentic self, remained unaddressed, even unknown to her conscious mind. The subtle plot twist in her story wasn't a grand external event, but the slow, dawning realization that her carefully constructed life, while outwardly successful, was built on a foundation of unmet inner needs. It was the moment she acknowledged the weariness in her own eyes, the quiet yearning for something beyond the next architectural triumph. Elara's archetype, in the Jungian sense, leaned heavily into the achiever and the perfectionist, driven by a powerful ego that sought external affirmation. This archetype, while capable of immense accomplishments, often struggles with genuine self-worth, basing its value on quantifiable achievements rather than inherent being. Her theme was the pursuit of validation, a poignant exploration of how early experiences can subtly twist our desires, leading us down paths that promise fulfillment but deliver only temporary highs. The subtle observation here is that true desire, the kind that nourishes the soul, often lies beneath layers of conditioning and societal pressure. It is not about having more, but about being more authentically. For those of you who resonate with Elara's struggle, who feel the whisper of an unfulfilled yearning beneath the clamor of your daily pursuits, it's time to embark on an inward journey. Begin by questioning your conscious desires. Are they truly yours, or are they echoes of what society, family, or even past versions of yourself told you to want? Engage in quiet self-reflection. What brings you genuine, uncomplicated joy, even if it seems unproductive or irrational? What activities make time disappear? These are often breadcrumbs leading to your buried desires. Consider journaling about your earliest memories of desire and disappointment. How might those experiences have shaped what you pursue today? The path to discovering your authentic desires, and thus healing the buried ego, begins with curiosity and a willingness to look beyond the glittering facade. It demands a brave confrontation with your own shadow, the parts of yourself you've pushed away in pursuit of an externally defined ideal. Embrace the discomfort, for within it lies the key to unlocking a deeper, more profound sense of self. The echoes of unfulfilled conscious desires, like those experienced by Elara, often lead us down a labyrinthine path, a journey into the hidden chambers of the psyche where the true architects of our longings reside. This brings us to the profound revelation of what your unconscious reveals about desire. It is here, in the vast, submerged ocean of the unconscious, that the authentic stirrings of the soul whisper, often masked by the clamor of external expectations and the defensive postures of the ego. As Carl Jung famously stated, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." This powerful assertion highlights the subtle yet potent influence of the hidden self on the very fabric of our perceived reality and, most acutely, on the desires we chase and the relationships we cultivate. Consider the intricate interplay between the conscious pursuit and the unconscious pull, a dance often choreographed by the shadow. The shadow, not merely a dark repository of undesirable traits, but a fertile ground for untapped potential and repressed desires, often manifests in our projections onto others. These projections are the unconscious revelations of what we desire or fear within ourselves. Think of the allure of a charismatic individual who seems to possess the very qualities you admire but feel you lack. This admiration, this almost magnetic pull, is often a mirror reflecting an unacknowledged aspect of your own being, a desire to integrate that quality into your conscious self. Conversely, the intense dislike or judgment you feel towards another can also be a projection of your shadow, highlighting a repressed trait within yourself that you find uncomfortable to acknowledge. Delving deeper into Jung's insights, consider the archetypal figures of the anima and animus, the contrasexual elements within the psyche. For women, the animus represents the masculine principle, encompassing qualities like logic, assertiveness, and drive. For men, the anima embodies the feminine principle, including intuition, emotionality, and receptivity. Our unconscious desires for connection often involve seeking partners who embody the undeveloped aspects of our anima or animus, hoping to find wholeness through external means. This isn't a flaw, but a natural impulse towards individuation, the lifelong process of becoming a complete and integrated self. However, when these unconscious desires remain unexamined, they can lead to relationships fraught with expectation and disappointment, as we project our own need for internal balance onto another person. The true desire, unbeknownst to the conscious mind, is not to find wholeness in another, but to cultivate it within oneself. For instance, a woman who consistently finds herself drawn to partners who are emotionally unavailable might, at an unconscious level, be reflecting her own unacknowledged fear of vulnerability, a manifestation of her undeveloped animus that prefers logical control over emotional openness. Her conscious desire might be for a deep, intimate connection, but her unconscious attraction to unavailability serves to protect her from the very emotional exposure she fears. Similarly, a man who repeatedly pursues partners he perceives as nurturing or motherly might be unconsciously seeking to integrate the compassionate and receptive qualities of his own undeveloped anima, rather than truly desiring a relationship based on mutual growth and self-sufficiency. The unconscious, in these instances, reveals not only what we seek, but also the internal barriers we've erected. The journey of making the unconscious conscious is not a gentle stroll through a rose garden. It is often a descent into the depths, a confrontation with the uncomfortable truths about ourselves. It demands shadow work, the arduous but liberating process of acknowledging and integrating those disowned parts of our personality. This work often begins with observing patterns in our relationships, the recurring challenges, the types of individuals we are consistently drawn to, and the emotional responses they evoke within us. These patterns are not random. They are breadcrumbs left by the unconscious, guiding us towards the buried aspects of ourselves that yearn for recognition and integration. Consider the teachings of William James, who emphasized the fluid and dynamic nature of the self, constantly being shaped by experience and interaction. Our unconscious desires are not static. They evolve as we do, reflecting our ongoing journey of self-discovery. When we ignore these deeper stirrings, we remain stuck in repetitive cycles, endlessly seeking external solutions for internal dilemmas. The unconscious, in its wisdom, often expresses these unmet desires through dreams, slips of the tongue, and seemingly irrational emotional reactions. These are not arbitrary occurrences but profound communications from the depths of our being, revealing what truly yearns to be acknowledged and integrated. The individual who embarks on this profound journey, willing to engage with the uncomfortable truths revealed by their unconscious, transcends the limitations of a superficial existence. They move beyond the ego's need for external validation and begin to understand that true desire emanates from a place of authenticity and inner wisdom. The archetype here transitions from the seeker, perpetually searching for external answers, to the alchemist, transforming internal lead into gold. The theme shifts from the pursuit of external gratification to the profound journey of internal integration, recognizing that true desire is not about acquiring, but about becoming. This character, through dedicated introspection and shadow work, begins to understand that the relationships and experiences that truly resonate are those that foster growth, challenge the ego, and align with the deepest stirrings of the authentic self. So, how do you begin to decipher what your unconscious is revealing about your desires? Pay attention to your projections. What qualities do you admire most in others? What irks you deeply? These are often signposts pointing to your own unacknowledged strengths and weaknesses. Explore your dreams. They are direct communications from the unconscious. What recurring symbols or themes appear? Engage in practices that foster self-awareness, such as mindfulness, meditation, or journaling. These practices create space for the unconscious whispers to be heard, allowing you to discern the genuine longings of your soul from the fleeting dictates of the ego. The path to understanding your true desires is not about control, but about compassionate inquiry, a willingness to listen to the whispers of your deeper self, and to courageously integrate what you find. This journey empowers you to move beyond simply calling it fate, and to actively shape a life aligned with your authentic desires. the intricate dance between our conscious yearnings and the profound whispers of the unconscious. As seen in Elara's journey, ultimately culminates in the revelation of what your unconscious reveals about desire. It is a journey of peeling back layers, of confronting the masks we wear, and of unearthing the authentic self that lies beneath. This final stage is not merely about understanding desire, but about actively transforming it from a source of external validation into a powerful wellspring of internal liberation. The wisdom of psychologists like Albert Bandura and Carl Rogers becomes particularly salient here, emphasizing the power of self-efficacy and the boundless potential for self-actualization when we truly align with our inner truth. Consider the concept of self-efficacy, championed by Bandura, which speaks to our belief in our ability to influence events and exert control over our lives. When our desires are driven by an unexamined ego, chasing external recognition or fleeting pleasures, our self-efficacy can become fragile, dependent on the whims of the external world. We become like leaves buffeted by the wind, our sense of worth constantly shifting with every compliment or criticism. However, when we embark on the profound journey of understanding our unconscious desires, when we confront our shadow and integrate our fragmented self, our self-efficacy becomes rooted in an unshakable inner conviction. We realize that our power lies not in controlling external circumstances, but in mastering our internal landscape. This shift transforms desire from a frantic scramble for more into a purposeful creation born from genuine self-awareness. Imagine another individual, Marcus, a gifted musician whose early career was marked by a relentless pursuit of fame and critical acclaim. He spent years honing his craft, pouring his soul into compositions that he believed would resonate with the masses, always with an eye on record sales and concert attendance. His conscious desire was to be a celebrated artist, to fill stadiums and see his name in lights. Yet, beneath this fervent ambition lay a deep-seated fear of insignificance, a feeling of not being enough unless validated by the world. This buried insecurity, a remnant of a childhood where his artistic pursuits were often dismissed as impractical, fueled his tireless efforts. His unconscious was screaming for validation, a desire that expressed itself as a craving for external accolades. One pivotal moment arrived after a particularly successful tour. Marcus found himself on a deserted beach at dawn, the vastness of the ocean mirroring the emptiness he felt despite his triumphs. He had achieved everything he thought he wanted, yet the hollow ache persisted. It was then, in that profound stillness, that a different kind of desire began to emerge, a subtle whisper from his authentic self. He recalled the pure, unadulterated joy of composing, not for an audience, but for the sheer act of creation, for the way the melodies flowed through him like a divine current. He remembered the quiet satisfaction of a perfect chord progression, the solace found in the solitary act of making music, long before the industry's demands had shaped his purpose. This was the awakening of his true desire, untainted by the ego's need for external validation. This shift in Marcus's perception is a powerful illustration of individuation, Jung's concept of becoming a whole and integrated person. His earlier desires were driven by the ego's projections and the unacknowledged wound of feeling insignificant. The climax of his story wasn't a grand public epiphany, but a quiet, internal rebirth on that lonely beach. He recognized that the pursuit of external fame had become a substitute for the true desire, to connect with the divine spark of creativity within him, to express his soul through music, regardless of the audience. He began to explore new forms of music, not for commercial success, but for artistic integrity. He started mentoring young musicians, finding a profound sense of purpose in nurturing creativity in others. His performances became less about impressing and more about sharing, his music infused with a deeper authenticity that resonated with audiences on a more profound level. His relationships also transformed. He sought genuine connection, no longer projecting his need for validation onto partners, but instead seeking individuals who valued his true self, not just his public persona. The journey of recognizing what your unconscious reveals about desire is ultimately a path to self-actualization, a concept beautifully articulated by Carl Rogers. Rogers believed in an innate human tendency to fulfill one's potential, to become the best version of oneself. This innate drive is often stifled by conditional positive regard, by being valued only when we meet certain external criteria. When we listen to the unconscious, when we embark on shadow work and integrate our fragmented selves, we move towards unconditional self-regard. We begin to value ourselves not for what we achieve or how others perceive us, but for who we inherently are. This internal power transforms desire from a burden of expectation into a catalyst for growth and authentic expression. Marcus, the artist, embodies the archetype of the creator reborn. He moved beyond the superficial desires of the ego-driven artist to embrace the profound calling of his soul, a testament to the transformative power of aligning with one's authentic self. His theme became the liberation of artistic expression from the shackles of external validation, finding true fulfillment in the pure act of creation. The profound observation is that true desire is not a destination to be reached, but an ongoing process of unfolding, a continuous alignment with one's deepest values and inherent purpose. It is a return to innocence, a rediscovery of the joy of being, unburdened by the ego's endless demands. For those of you who find yourselves at a crossroads, where the desires you've consciously pursued feel increasingly hollow, this is your invitation to embark on this liberating journey. Embrace the power of stillness, for it is in moments of quiet introspection that the whispers of your unconscious become audible. Practice mindfulness, allowing your thoughts and emotions to surface without judgment. Engage in activities that bring you genuine joy, even if they seem insignificant to the external world. These are often direct lines to your authentic self. The path to discovering what your unconscious truly desires is not about finding a magic answer outside yourself, but about cultivating a deep, compassionate relationship with your inner world. Let go of the desperate need for external validation. Understand that your worth is not contingent on achievements, relationships, or possessions. It is an inherent, unchangeable truth. When you release the grip of external expectations, you create space for authentic desire to flourish, for a peaceful inner rebirth. This profound shift empowers you to walk through life with a newfound sense of purpose, confidence, and unwavering self-worth. It is a journey of transforming anxiety into calm, self-doubt into conviction, and unfulfilled yearning into profound satisfaction. Through this work, you will discover that the greatest desire of your unconscious is simply for you to become who you truly are, to live authentically, and to embrace the limitless potential that resides within. Embrace practices that nourish your soul, whether it's the quiet strength found in meditation, the invigorating release of a run, the centering calm of yoga, or simply walking in nature. Allow positive thoughts to naturally displace the old, limiting beliefs. This is not just a theoretical concept. It is a profound and practical shift in how you experience life, leading to transformative self-discovery and enduring peace. What small, brave step will you take today to listen to the whispers of your own unconscious? Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and share this video with other friends to spread valuable insights in life. Thank you for listening. The END.